about how to use Repl. So once you set up your site and you log in, you can log in with your Google account, or you can create your own account. What you're going to do is you're going to create a new Repl. And since you're going to be working in pairs, only one of you really needs to do this, because you're going to then share that with your partner. So once you get into Repl, you're going to click that new REPL over here, and then it asks you what language to use. So you're going to scroll down until you see HTML, CSS, JS. JS is JavaScript. So we're going to be using HTML right now, and we're going to click on that. Then it asks me for a title here. So I could just call this my party flyer website. And it's going to make it public because we have a free account. So we're going to click Create Repl here. When I do that, it basically preloads some of the basic information for a website. Now, when I click Run, you'll notice that on the right-hand side, nothing's here. But that's because there is some information in the text, but it's not actually anything to print on the website. Okay, so I'll show you that in a second. Once one person has created a document here and titled it with my party flyer website or whatever title you want to use, you're going to click this share button. So there's two ways to share. You can either share by email, or you can copy this link, and since you guys are working on a Zoom call, you can copy and paste that link into the chat box for the other person to open up. Okay? Once the other person has opened this up, you'll both be in the same document, kind of like how a Google Docs works, where you're collaborating at the same time. Now, I want to just show you a few things. We have the HTML header. This also tells us that it's a certain kind of document called HTML. In the header, there's something called metadata, which has information about the document and what kind of language it uses, the size of the document, etc. Then you have something called the body. The body is really where your text is going to be, and then it also has your script source. So after that, what we can do is we can type things into this box. So I can type in, for example, H1, which if you remember is one of the headers, and I can say this is my website. Oops, but let's spell it right. And remember, when you close a tag, you always have to have slash and then that same header. So same H1. So notice we have the little caret H1, and then we have the same thing here, except there's a slash right before the H1. All right, now when I click Run, you might predict what's about to happen. You're gonna see text. So notice that you see a big title on here, and the title size is determined by this H1. So what you're gonna do is play around with the different levels of headers, and you can see when I type H, you see all these different headers. There's H1 through H6, and you can choose which one to use. So if I type H6 and I close it, and I can say this is a smaller header, and then I close that H6, and then I click Run, notice that that text now appears. You always have to click Run in order for it to appear on the right. So what you're going to do is play around with those. For this assignment, you and your partner are going to create a party website, and you're going to need to have your HTML tag, which should already be there. You should also have your body tag. You should have header tags, at least 3 of them between H1 and H6. You can decide which ones you use. You should also be using the P tag, which is paragraph, and a footer tag. Okay, so I'm gonna just show you what the footer looks like. And remember, the footer is going to be your contact information. So this is my email address. And then I can say, here's my email address. And then I can close the footer and click Run. Now notice that shows up at the bottom because it's the footer, okay? And then when we're done, we're going to be sharing these. If, let's say, you want to spice it up and you've done all of those aspects of this project, you can go to a website called w3schools.com, And at this page, you can learn a bunch of HTML. There's different websites or different languages that you can learn about, but you can click Learn HTML, and you can play around with different resources here in case you wanted to add color, or you wanted to add different fonts. There's different options that you can choose. So HTML colors are here, styles, and you can play around with that. Okay, so you can add those to your website as well. And in a few minutes, we'll come back and share what we came up with.